Americans out of line. Let Philadelphia freedom ring and patriotic voices sing. Red, white, blue, never give up. You represent America.
Hoping and praying for a brighter day. I listen to my heart and I obey. How can I see it any other way? I'm looking at life with my own
eyes. Today on Liberty's Kids.
The peace died on the greens of Lexington and Concord. It was murdered again at Bunker Hill. There is no peace in the hearts and minds of the countless thousands who have been forced to swallow the vile brew of British tyranny.
If you insist on war, you shall have it. Massachusetts is free to fight England until the moon falls into the sea, but she will fight alone!
May, 1775. Dearest Mother, Dr. Franklin continues to dazzle me. In these troubled times, when so many people are nervous, or angry, or frightened, Dr. Franklin's resolve is reassuring.
Good morning. Gather round. We have a busy week ahead of us, and I have a special mission for each of you. The delegates are arriving for the Second Continental Congress.
Great! The Gazette will cover Congress from gavel to gavel. I won't miss a thing.
Perhaps not, but you missed everything else.
Not yet, James. Henri, the delegates will need fresh water. Keep the buckets filled.
I've been thinking, Dr. Franklin, how about a story on our own delegate, Mr. Dickinson?
Hold your horses, James. Sarah, I want you and Moses to greet Colonel George Washington when he arrives from Virginia. Assist him in whatever he may need.
This Colonel Washington must be important?
During the French and Indian War, he saved many lives. I expect big things from him in Congress.
I'll get my shawl.
That leaves me. What do you have in mind, sir? Maybe I could talk to this Colonel Washington?
No, James. No journalists will be allowed in the hall.
No journalists? But...
The delegates are here to deal with life and death matters. They'll need to voice their opinions freely, privately.
Then what in the world am I supposed to do?
Someone has to look after the delegates' horses.
Horses?
You may need a bigger broom.
You may need a shovel.
I can't believe my luck. The biggest story in the world is right here in Philadelphia, and I'm stuck babysitting a bunch of dumb horses. Look, that's John Adams.
John Adams? I thought his name was Sam Adams.
That's his cousin. John Adams is the smartest lawyer in New England. Let's find out what he's up to.
A leader is what we need.
What about this?
I'm sure Mr. Adams and the others are thirsty after their long journeys. Now get going.
Hey!
I'm going to nominate Colonel Washington. He's the perfect man to head the new Continental Army.
Why not your own Mr. Hancock? I know he has designs on the top job.
Impossible. Washington is the only hero we have. The only man the whole country will support.
Will New England accept a Virginian?
A Southern man is exactly what we need. Otherwise, the Revolution will remain New England's war.
Excusez-moi. Excuse me.
Ben, who is this?
A French small fry.
Henri, go! Go!
Pardon. Sorry.
Hold your horses, lad.
James is supposed to hold the horses. I'm the water boy.
Come on, Henri. I have to find out what's happening. That bell means Congress is about to start.
Oh, but Ben Franklin said no journalists.
Am I to understand that you're a journalist, young sir?
James Hiller, Pennsylvania Gazette.
It's a pleasure to meet a fellow newspaper man.
You're a newspaper man, too?
Paul Wentworth's the name. I understand your little friend here has a ticket into the hall.
Ticket? I've got a bucket into the hall. 2 of them.
And I've got a pocket full of coins for every scrap of news you bring out with your empty buckets.
Coins? I'm all ears.
Wait a second. Dr. Franklin said we can't print anything until after Congress is over.
And Dr. Franklin is right. We wouldn't want to do anything to hurt the cause.
Exactly.
However, James, someday it will be up to newspaper men like us to tell the people what went on. And we can't do that without facts, can we?
No, we can't. Facts are everything.
If you want to make it in this business, you have to go where the action is. Are you game, James?
How many coins are we talking about?
Quiet, Henri. This is between a couple of newspaper men. Isn't that right, Paul?
That's a fact, James. That's a fact. Pardon me, I'm a stranger to your fair city. Is this where Colonel Washington is staying?
Yes, sir, but he's just now arrived.
Whoa!
Such poor workmanship on this coach. It's an outrage.
Allow me to be of service, Colonel. My name is Moses.
Who's your master, Moses?
I'm a freed man, sir, in the employ of Dr. Benjamin Franklin. I'll have your coach fixed good as new.
Apparently our English cousins have contempt for us. They've turned the colonies into a dumping ground for all the shoddy goods they themselves would not have.
Moses will fix it, sir. He's very talented.
And who are you, young lady?
Sarah Phillips, my lordship.
That isn't necessary, Miss Phillips. I'm not a lord. I'm just a citizen like anyone else.
I beg your pardon, your lord. Colonel Washington. Dr. Franklin has sent us to assist you.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing the good doctor again. Moses, the future is in the hands of men such as yourself, homegrown craftsmen. The job is yours.
It will be an honor, sir.
The honor is mine.
Chair recognizes the delegate from Pennsylvania Colony, Mr. Dickinson.
Gentlemen, hear me clearly. There are still those of us who believe in a peaceful resolve to this conflict. We are brothers, England and America. Surely there is another course short of all-out war.
The peace died on the greens of Lexington and Concord. It was murdered again at Bunker Hill. There is no peace in the hearts and minds of the countless thousands who have been forced to swallow the vile brew of British tyranny.
Mr. Adams, you spit fire well, but the king's guns spit lead. You will lead us down the path to ruin.
And you, sir, will lead us down the path to slavery.
We can't win a war with it. If you insist on war, you shall have it. But it will be New England's war, Mr. Adams. Massachusetts is free to fight England until the moon falls into the sea, but she will fight alone!
Order, gentlemen, order! The chair recognizes the distinguished gentleman from Philadelphia, Dr. Benjamin Franklin.
Friends, I remind you that we lack not in great talkers, but great doers. I find myself in agreement with Mr. Adams. War is upon us, like it or not. Our great comfort is that we honestly and faithfully did everything in our power to prevent it. But war is here, on our doorstep, whether our doorstep be in Boston or Baltimore. Forgive me, my voice grows hoarse.
Cold water, Dr. Franklin?
Notebook? Pencil, please.
Not my pencil, please.
I hate to nag you, but...
I know. Horses.
Ah, Mr. Hiller, what have you learned?
I learned that when Ben Franklin says no journalists, he means no journalists. He took my notebook and my pencil.
Gangway coming through!
What's the hurry, young man?
Sam Adams just kicked the bucket.
Sam Adams is dead?
Hey! No, he kicked my bucket, spilled water everywhere. Oh, what a mess.
I can't believe this. I'm stuck out here while the story of the century is in there.
It is a conundrum, isn't it?
Conundrum?
A problem. Forgive me, you're new to the newspaper game, but don't feel bad. Someday, when you are a real newspaper man, you'll know big words like conundrum.
I am too a real newspaper man.
Indeed. But do you have the fire in the belly to do whatever it takes to get the story?
My belly's on fire. You tell me what facts you want, Mr. Wentworth, and I'll get them.
Good. Excellent. Let's start with what they're up to in there. Is Congress going to raise an army? Who will lead the army? The facts, James. We must have the facts.
I'm on it. Who, what, why, where, when, and how. Have you got a pencil? Much obliged. Here goes.
You'd think a congressman wouldn't be so clumsy.
Whoa! Fact 1. This isn't going to be easy.
I must know what's going on in there. Enough of this tomfoolery. We tried it your way. Now we do it my way.
It certainly is an exciting time to be in Philadelphia. The city is alive with interesting new people.
Exciting and dangerous. Mixed among the delegates to the Second Continental Congress are spies. We all have to watch our tongues. Drill, please.
Drill, coming right up.
He's at Mr. Rodney's desk.
Who's Rodney?
Caesar Rodney. He's the head man in the colony of Delaware. What he says goes. I'm surprised you haven't heard of him. Haven't you written about him in your newspaper?
Oh, that's Caesar Rodney, of course. What's happening now?
Dr. Franklin has the floor.
There are two voices here. One seeks reconciliation with England. The other seeks independence. I address the former. It was Parliament, remember, which has doomed our country to destruction. They have begun to burn our towns and murder our people. Look upon their hands. The fault lies not with Mr. Adams. The fault lies in London.
Dr. Franklin has finished speaking. I don't see Henri. Okay, he's back. He's with... Oh, this is good. John Hancock. He's with John Hancock. I don't believe it. Hancock is not only talking to Henri, he's actually writing it down for him.
If Congress does not take over the army at Boston soon, it will disintegrate. All hope will be lost. The time has come. We must have a general today.
Gentlemen, I think the solution is obvious. John Hancock is my nominee to lead our new national army.
Mr. Payne, you flatter me. But we also have a gentleman available of impeccable credentials. A Southerner, Colonel Charles Henri Lee of Virginia.
Who was born in England and who would be perfectly happy to be there now. The man we are looking for is among us, and he is a Southerner from Virginia. I nominate as General of the Colonial Army, Colonel George Washington.
I lost Henri. He's so little. He vanished when Colonel Washington stood up to speak.
Colonel Washington is speaking?
There he is. Look at him go. He must have big news. Henri has news. Come on. Henri? Henri! Excuse me. A boy just ran in here. About this tall? There you are. Where are your notes? I've been watching you. You've been doing great.
Watching me? How?
With a spyglass.
You've got a spyglass? Let me see it.
James, wouldn't it be better to discuss this outside?
Yes, of course. Come on, Henri. Hurry up!
Stop it! That tickles!
If you got everything down on paper, I'll be tickled.
What does it say? Is that French?
I get coins for this, right?
Of course, I'm a man of my word.
Okay, voila. Here's what I found out. John Adams wants poultry, pulled poultry.
What?
Oh, you know, not poultry cut in slices, but pulled from the bone. Sam Adams wants beef, unless it's too well done. Then he wants mutton. Oh, here's something strange. John Adams won't eat mutton because it's a favorite British food.
Let me see that. John Hancock, potato soup?
He's got a bad tooth.
You were getting lunch orders?
I can't believe you messed this up.
Sam Adams is the one who messed it up. He spilled ink all over my lunch order. Oh, my coins, s'il vous plaît. What are these? I've never seen coins like this.
They're Greek, very old, older than Hercules. The two slits in each coin enabled the ancient Greeks to string them on chains and wear them around their neck for safekeeping.
Oh, thanks! If you want any more facts.
I'll get them myself. You failed me, both of you. And the only reason I paid you is I'm a man of my word.
How could you do this to me? Mr. Wentworth is an important newspaper man. He publishes a paper I've never heard of, and you made me look like a kid.
I'm new at this.
That's it. I'll get the facts myself and make everything right with Mr. Wentworth.
I'll help. I'd like to get more of these Greek coins. Hey, those are mine.
You're back to being a water boy. This is a job for a newspaper man, not a newspaper boy. Ow!
Who's the water boy now?
James, what are you doing here?
Nothing. This whole day has been a big waste. What are you doing here?
Delivering Colonel Washington's coach. Where is Henri?
I don't care.
What's wrong?
I had a chance to impress an important newspaper publisher from New Hampshire, Mr. Wentworth, but I came up empty.
Wentworth? I don't know any Wentworth who publishes a paper in New Hampshire.
Well, he is who he says he is. He even paid us. He's a man of his word. See for yourself.
Those aren't coins, silly. They're buttons.
Buttons?
I've sewed buttons like those on my father's uniforms. These buttons were minted 3 years ago by King George to decorate the coats of gentlemen invited to the king's birthday party.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Whoever your Mr. Wentworth is, he must be a close friend of King George.
I have an idea. Quick, a pencil.
My presence here will stifle free discussion. Since my appointment is the issue at hand, I will retire to allow you to speak your minds. Good evening.
I received your note at my boarding house. You have facts?
I interviewed the delegates, every single one of them. It took me all night to track them down. It's all there. The size of the new National Army, what General Hancock plans to do to drive the Redcoats out of Boston. It's the biggest story of the year. I told you I'd get the facts, and I'm a man of my word.
I must go. I have to write my story and get it back to my paper. You're a first-rate newspaperman, James Hiller. Well done.
And you're a rotten spy. If my guess is right, Mr. Wentworth is reporting to someone. The question is, who?
Look, a boat.
8 men could fit in this. We need to be careful. Redcoats! I want to get closer.
I'll go with you. Henri, take Moses' tool pouch.
We'll meet back on the road.
Hancock will be the general of the colonial army.
John Hancock. The rumor is it's Washington.
The rumor is wrong. They put the Washington story out to mislead us. Hancock will lead the rebel army, and his plans call for a march on Rhode Island.
You trust your source?
A gullible child. He spilled the beans. A stupid boy, typical colonial, grand ideas, no schooling, easily duped.
Excellent. Let's move out.
Sarah!
I'm here. That was frightfully awkward for a while, wasn't it?
I was a fool. I wanted so badly to be a big-shot journalist, I almost gave away secrets to the enemy.
But you outsmarted them.
You're British. How does that make you feel?
If Colonel Washington is announced as General of the Army tomorrow, word will get to the British soon enough. And that man who deceived you and Henri will look like a fool. I can live with that.
Look!
What's happening?
On a leak!
I'm wearing silk garments! My suit will be ruined!
Henri! Great job!
You know, I don't ask you for one moment to surrender your hope for a peaceful resolve to these problems.
Thank you. I do pray for that.
The only hope the colonies have to avoid all-out war is in the strength of our army and the strength of our resolve.
I like General Washington. I hope the great men of this Congress work as hard to find peace as General Washington does to prepare the army for war.
That will depend on Parliament. You know, Sarah, if things get too uncomfortable, we will find a way to get you back home.
Thank you, Dr. Franklin.
Come on! You're late!
And on the issue of General of the Continental Army, we call upon George Washington.
I accept this momentous duty because this Congress desires it. I beg it be remembered by every gentleman in this room that I, this day, declare with utmost sincerity, I do not think myself equal to the command I am honored with.
Dear Mother, this is the first time I have felt that I am, in fact, living events which will be remembered by other generations. I remain with a confused heart. I pray for peace, but fear we are heading towards war.
Dearest Sarah, you wrote that you would send a letter to me every day, yet I have not received one in ages. I pray that you are well. I have not heard from your father either, but I know mail service to the Ohio frontier is non-existent. Now here is the message I most urgently wish you to receive. Please remain in Philadelphia. Now that war has broken out, that is the best way to ensure that our family will one day be happily and healthily reunited. Although I am comforted that your care is in the sure hands of Dr. Franklin. I do hope dearly to hear from you soon. Your loving mother.
Come back here! Trust me, you can't get away!
Whoever said no news is good news wasn't in the newspaper game.
There must be something you could write about.
Maybe, but we haven't heard from any of our correspondents in 2 weeks.
Look what I found in the street!
Litter?
A letter! The postman must have dropped it.
Let me see.
You shouldn't read somebody else's mail. We have to deliver it to the rightful owner.
But we are the rightful owner. It's addressed to the Pennsylvania Gazette.
It's news, right? Am I right?
Oh boy, ask and ye shall receive. A report about British troop movements. The Redcoats are moving south from Boston.
Are you sure? Who sent it?
The Fox.
That's a strange name.
Could be a spy.
Or it could be code.
Who cares? We finally have a story, and I got it for us.
Maybe Henri's right. At least it's something. Come on, Moses. Let's dust off the printing press.
I'm looking for a Sarah Phillips.
We've got a Sarah Phillips.
Is she here? I'm carrying a letter for her.
Henri, go get Sarah.
Who do you think I am? Your assistant?
Yes.
I'll get Sarah.
You're a captain?
Captain Hodges, at your service.
And you're carrying the mail?
I'm on my way to rejoin General Washington's troops in Boston. I was entrusted with this letter during my trip to Fort Pittsburgh.
I bet that's from Sarah's father.
We have news, Captain. Big news. British troops are moving south from Boston.
That can't be true.
It's true. It's right here in this letter.
Do you know this Fox person?
No, but it's addressed to us. We're putting out a special edition of the Gazette to spread the word.
I wouldn't do that. Do you see this letter mark?
Looks like an F.
It is an F.
I don't understand. What does it mean?
It's code. There's a secret message hidden somewhere inside.
I don't see any secret message.
You can't see it. The real message is between the lines, written in invisible ink.
Invisible ink?
Both sides are using invisible ink, in case a letter is lost or captured. The Redcoats would like nothing more than for you to print this in your paper.
Why?
They want us to think they're moving south, so we'll be unprepared when they spring their real plan.
We almost fell for their trap!
You must be very careful about the mail. It can't be trusted. The British control it.
How does this invisible ink work? I mean, what good is a secret message if nobody can see it?
There's a special treatment. We'll need a man of science to help us.
I know just the man.
The letter F means fire. If it was marked with an A, I'd have to treat the letter with acid to make the invisible ink visible. Gather round. The invisible ink is a mixture of ferrous sulfate and water. The heat from the candle oxidizes the mixture and makes it possible to read what is written.
That's fantastic!
Very clever.
What does the secret message say?
Exactly opposite of what they wanted you to know. The British are not leaving Boston. It will be up to General Washington to force them out.
There you are.
Somebody wanted to see me?
Sarah Phillips?
Yes.
I've carried this a long way.
It's from my father. He's on the Ohio frontier. Oh, thank you.
Of course. And now I must be on my way. Be careful, all of you.
It's only the second letter I've gotten from him since I've been here.
What does he say?
When is he coming back?
Is he all right?
He doesn't say. And this letter is 2 months old, and I can't write him back to ask. There's no mail service to the frontier. And I can't even tell Mother I've heard from Father, because she isn't getting the letters I send her.
She's not. You write to her every day.
But they're not getting through.
Captain Hodges said the British control the mail. I'm going to investigate.
And I'm going to assistant investigate.
Tories! They're going through the mail. It's an offense, an outrage.
Ben, someone went through my mail. It's an offense, an outrage.
Fences can be mended, Mr. Adams.
My comments about Mr. Dickinson, as critical, even petty as they were never meant for publication. Whoever stole my letter printed it to humiliate me and drive a wedge between Massachusetts and Pennsylvania.
Here comes Mr. Dickinson now. Perhaps you can make peace with him.
Mr. Dickinson, may I have a word with you, please? He's as stubborn as I am.
Can you blame him, John? You called him a piddling genius.
Yes, in a private letter. Ben, we must fix the mail system. If we can't trust the post, how are we to freely express ourselves? The publication of my letter hurt our cause. It added a division in our ranks, just when it's most important for us to show unity of purpose.
Order, gentlemen, order!
A letter that I wrote to General James Warren was also intercepted.
Stolen is a better word.
Yes, stolen by the Tories and published in the Boston papers. A personal letter, mind you, full of blasphemous opinions and conspiratorial outbursts.
You must learn to control your temper.
I admit I have a defective character. However, Dr. Franklin, you designed the Colonial Postal Service at the request of the Crown. And now a man can't write a word without risking it appearing in print.
Order, gentlemen, order! Dr. Franklin, since you are the father of modern postal practices, I move you be appointed head of a committee to devise a new colonial postal service, independent of the British Crown. In the meantime, we mustn't use the royal postal system, unless you would be comfortable with King George himself reading what you've written.
In the meantime, we have to find a way to get this load of mail through to New York. We can't spare another soldier.
I'll take it.
That's very brave of you, James, but it could be dangerous.
I'll be careful.
You'll have to be more than careful.
Count on me, sir.
I'm going to have to do just that. This load of mail contains several important dispatches to General Washington. They must not fall into British hands.
I'm going too.
It's not safe.
But you're carrying a letter to my mother with news of father. I want to see with my own eyes that it gets on the mail boat for London. Besides, I'm twice the rider you are.
You are not.
And two.
Are not.
Sarah, if our colonial army possessed an ounce of your pluck, we'd have nothing to fear.
We'll see who's twice the rider.
I want you both to follow Route 1, the postal road connecting Philadelphia to New York, which I established 20 years ago as Royal Postmaster General. I set up a series of milestones that will lead you to New York. The milestones are placed at regular intervals all the way to Boston. My postal system was a model of efficiency, but that was before our current troubles.
Shouldn't we have passed another milestone by now? Or two?
We're in New Jersey. Maybe they don't go this far.
Dr. Franklin said he set them up all the way to Boston.
Isn't that one? Oh, no! Whoa. They're the ones who bribed the postman. They're Tories. They're waiting to intercept the mail. What are we going to do?
Maybe we should turn around and go back.
Then the mail won't get through. General Washington won't get his dispatches.
Maybe they'll let us through.
But there's a British soldier with them.
British soldiers are not monsters, you know.
That's because you're British.
May I remind you you're also British?
Okay, have it your way. Why don't you go ahead? I have to water my horse. I'll meet you at the blockade.
Hurry. Whoa!
Now, why would a pretty young lass such as yourself be out riding alone?
Thank you, sir. You are most kind. I am not riding alone. My friend James is watering his horse. He'll be along.
And what is the nature of the business that takes you to New York?
Well, you see... Ah, here he comes.
Whoa!
Now that he's here, may we pass?
I'd still like to know the nature of your business.
We're visiting a sick friend. Sarah got a letter that was weeks old saying that a dear friend of ours may perish soon. We only hope we're not too late.
Oh, well, in that case, please move along. We won't detain you further.
Thank you, kind sir.
Your servant, milady.
That was a shameless taradiddle you told them about our perishing friend.
I know. It was wrong.
The truth would have done just as well.
I was afraid to take the chance.
James, you haven't got the mailbag.
You think we would have made it through if I did?
But where is it?
Where they won't find it.
James, what have you done with the mail?
We'll sneak back for it when the sun goes down.
You are shameless.
Do you want your letter to get through or not?
I want you to know that I disapprove of your deception with all my heart. What if we get caught? Now that we've lied, the consequences will be harsher, I'm sure.
But you saw when we rode back through. They're gone now.
Did you hear something?
Sarah, quit worrying. We're almost there.
Something you forgot to tell us?
Run, Sarah!
What have we here? So, you've led your friends here!
It's not much farther where we left the horses. Just keep running.
I told you this would be trouble. Oh, we can't make it.
We've got to.
Keep on them! They've got a load of mail!
Coming with us.
By what right are you detaining us?
Like she said, by what right?
By what right are you carrying the mail? You don't look like Royal Postal employees. I'm sure you stole the mail from those men. I don't care if you did, so you might as well admit it. They probably stole it themselves. I purposely set off that gunpowder explosion to distract them so we could rescue the mail.
Whose side are you on, anyway?
We are volunteers. We're on the side of helpless colonists.
So are we.
And you prove it by stealing their mail?
Have you ever heard of Dr. Benjamin Franklin?
Who hasn't?
We're carrying the mail for him.
Have you some proof of that?
I do. Dr. Franklin asked us to deliver these letters to New York.
Well, this is Franklin's signature. So you are official couriers. That is a very different matter.
Congress has asked Dr. Franklin to look into the possibility of forming an independent postal system for the colonies.
Did everybody hear that? We're breaking away from the Royal Postal System!
Wonderful! Yes.
You have no idea what good news that is.
Those Tories wanted the mail.
I'm sure they did.
And may we ask who you are?
You may, if you can keep a secret.
I can.
And you?
Of course.
We began some years ago as the New Jersey Committee of Correspondence. We were a volunteer organization dedicated to spreading news throughout the colonies. Our mission was to unite the colonies through better communication. We sent messages to the colonies about the British threat. We copied press reports and intelligence messages gathered from our spies, and we spread them throughout the colonies. Now we still work together, keeping tabs on Tory spies, like the men who tried to steal your mail.
Then you'll let us carry our bag to New York?
Let you? We'll help you. We'll supply an armed escort all the way to New York.
You see, I told you my plan was a good one.
But you could have gotten us in trouble.
She's not kidding. The British would gladly imprison any one of us in this room for what we're doing. You two amaze me with your courage.
You're too kind.
He's right, Sarah. You showed some real bravery.
Why not? I've got you to inspire me, even if I don't always approve of your tricks.
All the Committee of Correspondence wants to do is spread the truth.
The truth is important.
It's everything.
But if the truth they are spreading leads to treason and actions against the crown...
It's still truth, and they should be allowed to spread it.
Well, I don't approve of the way you lied.
We wouldn't have gotten this far.
I believe in truth, not lies.
Look, we're almost to New York because of my lie.
We were almost stopped because of your lie. We're almost to New York because of the New Jersey Committee of Correspondence.
So you do approve of what they're doing?
I suppose I do, in spite of myself.
We'll make a patriot out of you yet.
I already am a patriot. At least in New York, we'll be back among subjects still loyal to the king.
They're not all loyalists. We've brought the mail all the way from Philadelphia! Yay! This entire mailbag has been unseen by British eyes.
Why are we stopping off in this tavern to brag about our exploits?
This is the end of the line, Sarah. The mail is distributed here. The volunteer mail carriers divide up the letters at the bar according to destination points and fan out to the different parts of town to deliver them.
What about my letter to my mother? It's going to London, not a part of New York.
One of the volunteers takes the overseas letters to the harbor and puts them on the first ship headed across the Atlantic.
So we've done it?
Yes!
My mother will get her letter?
She will, Sarah. You can count on it.
James, I'm so happy I could kiss you.
Sarah, please. I've suffered enough at the hands of the British.
Dr. Franklin, your report is most complete.
I suggest that we waste no time in naming a Postmaster General.
Because of his expertise, experience, and genius, and as a slap in the face to the British Crown which saw fit to remove him from his post, I put into nomination the name of Dr. Benjamin Franklin for the office of Colonial Postmaster General. All in favor? Aye! All opposed? Then it's unanimous. May I present to you the first man in history to hold the title independently of any king or royal principality, Postmaster General Franklin.
Thank you, fellow conspirators. I accept this honor if for no other reason than to make the king's blood boil.
Dr. Franklin, what will be your first official act?
To establish a line of posts from Falmouth in New England to Savannah in Georgia, and to employ a fleet of trustworthy, incorruptible men. And neither rain, sleet, snow, nor dark of night will keep them from their appointed rounds.
27 July 1775. Dearest Mother, I have read your last letter 30 times, which is one time for each day I waited for it. I'm so relieved that you received my letter about Father. I am relieved that you received any letter from me at all. Thanks to James and Dr. Franklin, I have a new appreciation of the importance of the postal service and of communication in general. How can the colonists hope to survive these difficult times without communication? Even if I don't agree with all of their stated aims, I do so admire the work that Dr. Franklin has done and continues to do in an effort to make this gigantic world a little smaller, so that, even if we are separated by geography, we may all be united in understanding.
Franklin, named Postmaster General of New Independent Colonial Postal Service.
Right now, James is interviewing the soldiers to see what they think of Mr. Honeyman.
I don't care about it one way or t'other.
But what if General Washington gets helpful information from questioning the spy?
I'll give the general some helpful information. My enlistment's up in 10 days and I'm counting the minutes.
You mean you won't re-enlist?
Don't you want liberté?
I signed on to fight for liberty. Now I'm sorry I ever heard the word. It's cold and I ain't got nothing for my feet. I went 4 days without food till I caught me a possum. Ever eat possum? I never will again. Never will enlist again either. I'm running home to my family in 10 days. You know what? The rest of the militia's going with me. Won't be nobody left.
Look, Henri, General Washington and the Tory spy. I hope that spy Honeyman hasn't ruined Washington's plans, whatever they are.
This man is a notorious turncoat. I want to interrogate him personally in my tent.
Did you hear that? He's going to personally interrogate Henri? Henri! Psst, Henri, get away from there. That's official army business. We can't be listening in on that.
But I want to know if the spy has ruined anything.
What do you have for me?
I bring news that is better than your wildest imaginings. General Howe is suspending military operations for the winter. He's moving the British troops to Staten Island and Manhattan. Howe has left Trenton in the hands of Colonel Rall and his Hessians. Rall has relaxed his guard and is ripe for attack. The Hessian colonel is a brave warrior, but he's fond of comfort, and they are about to begin their Christmas celebration. I have prepared a diagram of the Hessian camp. I have also assured Colonel Rall that you and your men are in no condition to attack. Tonight, after I made my miraculous escape, I shall reassure him again.
Words cannot express my gratitude. By posing as a traitor, you have put yourself and your family in a most unpleasant position.
I am glad if I've been of service.
That you have. Take charge of the prisoner. This man is unrepentant. Lock him in the guardhouse.
Honeyman has been spying on the British for General Washington.
Where have you been?
Looking for you.
We've been worried about you.
Did you find anything out?
He was trying to eavesdrop on official army business.
Henri?
But what about the spy?
That is none of our business.
Remember me? You were asking me those questions last night? I'm soon to be ex-Private Edward Hughes of Virginia, by the way.
I'm James.
Henri.
My name's Sarah.
I don't suppose y'all could spare a little extra.
Sure.
Oui.
Of course.
Much obliged. Y'all hear about the spy? He got away.
What?
Nobody knows how. The guardhouse was still locked. He just wasn't in it.
This is a disaster. He's probably blabbing everything to the British right now.
You're right. That puts us right in the middle of a camp that could be stormed by British troops at any moment. James? You don't seem very concerned.
What?
I'm the loyalist, you're the patriot. Shouldn't you be at least as worried as I am?
I am. I'm just hungrier.
Dr. Franklin?
Monsieur Penet?
No, monsieur, his partner, Gerard. All France has been awaiting the arrival of the great American genius.
And all you behold is a grouchy old man with gout.
Not at all. You are welcome in my home to eat, drink, and rest.
I shall take you up on all three.
So you come to France to ask the king for help against the British, no?
No, I come to end my days reading, experimenting, and working with the great scientists of France.
Oh, yes, of course. Then your coming has nothing to do with Washington's crushing defeats at Long Island and New York.
Ours must seem a lost cause. If only some good news of Washington's army could reach France.
Tomorrow, just after sundown, we are going to cross the Delaware and attack the Hessian camp in Trenton. My plan is derived from the hit-and-run tactics that the Indians on the frontier used quite effectively in the last war, but with a touch of my own strategy. Basically, it's a three-pronged sneak attack. 3 regiments crossing the Delaware at 3 different points, above Trenton, opposite Trenton, and downstream from Trenton at Bordentown, surrounding the Hessians and cutting off escape options.
General, won't this plan be terribly difficult to coordinate?
Yes. Its success will depend upon our ability to meet that challenge and time the landings so that the Hessians will be surprised before they are out of their beds. Tonight, After evening parade, instead of returning to your tents, you are to prepare to march to McConkey's Ferry. There, we will cross the Delaware and mount an attack on the British stronghold in Trenton. That is all.
Just when I thought I was going home.
And a Merry Christmas to you. Only 7 days to go, and we have to go get ourselves killed.
After that spy has gone back and told them everything, they'll be waiting for this.
Has General Washington lost his mind?
He knows what he's doing.
So you still think he's got some secret plan?
Of course he does.
I ain't seen none of it so far. Alls we've done is retreat and retreat again. This is the most useless mess I ever got involved in. I ought to desert.
But you're a soldier. You can't just leave.
Fighting for liberty's one thing, dying for nothing's another.
James, he has a right to know what he's risking his life for.
He'll be all right if he just follows Washington's orders. We spent that Christmas night crossing the half-frozen Delaware River, hoping the Hessians wouldn't catch on to General Washington's plan.
I'm cold. Why are we doing this?
Come on, Henri. This is a chance to see history in the making.
Oh, and maybe freeze to death.
Help! Man overboard! Help! Grab it and hold on!
Come on now. Y'all can't afford to do that. Heck, everybody's cold. Why'd you take a chance like that? You could have fallen in too.
Every man is important, Private Hughes. I'm just thinking about the cause.
I gotta admit, I ain't been thinking about the cause for quite some time.
Open up! Open up! I must speak with Colonel Rall at once!
Colonel Rall is given explicit instructions that he is not to be disturbed for any reason.
Could you give him a message right away?
If you'd like to write a note, I would be glad to deliver it to him.
Colonel Rall, Washington's troops have crossed the Delaware. They are mounting an attack. You must rally your forces immediately.
What is it? I told you not to interrupt us. No more interruptions, please.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, shall we continue?
General Washington, the sleet has ruined most of the gunpowder.
Then use the bayonet, Captain. Trenton must be taken.
Has the great George Washington gone mad? Everything has gone wrong and he still wants to continue.
Y'all better take cover in that there barn. We'll be in the shooting war soon.
Please be careful and don't take any unnecessary chances.
Too late.
Colonel Rall, Washington's troops have attacked.
Are you hurt?
Yes, I've been hit. I cannot stand. I cannot move.
Let me see the wound.
Oh, the note. Colonel Rall, Washington's troops have crossed the Delaware. They are mounting an attack. You must rally your forces immediately. If I had only read this note, I would not be lying here now.
Look! The flag! Our flag.
A flag! A flag!
Well, it's not exactly my flag.
We won! We won! We lost nary a man. The town is ours. We caught them with their breeches down.
Congratulations! Finally, a victory!
I'll tell you what else. When we was marching in, I saw General Washington on his horse. The horse slipped on the ice and would have fell, but the general grabbed his mane with his big right hand and pulled him straight. Kept on going without a hitch. That's when I first started to think we might have a chance.
James, but what happened to the spy?
Honeyman was secretly spying for Washington.
What?
I overheard them talking when I went to get Henri away from the tent. He told Washington that the British had pulled out of Trenton and the Hessian soldiers would not be ready for an attack.
You knew this all the time and didn't tell us?
It was a military secret that I wasn't supposed to know.
So he really did have a secret plan. I wonder what he's going to do in 5 days when he loses his troops.
My brave fellows, you have done all I have asked you to do, and more than could be reasonably expected. But your country is at stake. Your families, your houses, and all that you hold dear. I know your enlistment ends tomorrow. The present moment is one which will decide our destiny. I'm asking for volunteers to stay on and continue the fight. Philadelphia merchant Robert Morris has donated the money for me to offer each man $10 for another tour of duty. Do I have any volunteers?
Please, somebody.
Heck, I will if somebody else will too. I can't fight this thing alone.
Now we have an army.
Without your courage, Private, we wouldn't have a chance.
Ah, heck. Let's win this thing.
General Washington, I want to congratulate you on your brilliant success.
Yeah, even though she doesn't believe in your cause.
General Washington?
Yes?
A message from Congress. They fled to Baltimore due to the British advance on Philadelphia.
So now I'll have to go to Baltimore to plead for more money and troops.
No, sir, you won't. That's the whole point of the message.
Evidently, Congress has seen fit to give me full power to do all things relative to the operations of war.
That's fantastic! First a great victory, and now this!
Most generals, when they get that much power, become dictators.
A free nation must not be ruled by generals. The sword is the last resort for the preservation of liberties, and so it must be put aside when those liberties are established.
Dearest Mother, I now know that I have been in the presence of a true military genius. When the British general, Cornwallis, learned of the surprise attack on Trenton, he immediately marched his troops there. The Hessian forces and all of their weapons were gone, captured by the Americans. But Washington's troops were nowhere to be found. Where were they? They were mounting a surprise attack on Princeton, New Jersey. Since most of the British troops were in Trenton, Washington's men took Princeton handily.
It's a fine fox hunt now, my boys.
Washington's skill and inventiveness at using the tactics he learned from Indians is beyond compare. I am, of course, still loyal to my king, but I fear that England faces a greater challenge than she knows. The American cry for independence is being backed up by a very canny general, and the tide, perhaps, is turning. Dearest Mother, remember in England how I complained about the cold? And now I welcome the snow as a friend because it stops the war.
There it is! Valley Forge! Washington's a genius! It's close enough to Philadelphia to keep an eye on Howe and his winter quarters, but far enough away to avoid a surprise attack.
Oh, Philadelphia.
Don't worry, Henri. We'll win it back.
Can't we talk about something besides more fighting?
How about Washington wanting to use this time to train our forces to become a disciplined army?
Or how all the soldiers who've suffered so much will finally have a chance to rest and get healthy. Oh no. It looks worse than we thought.
We meet again, my friends.
Lafayette!
Joubert! I've missed you!
And you, Henri.
Marquis, we hoped Valley Forge would be a comfortable place for our soldiers.
Come, James, are these not miracles? A prize of $12 was given to the best built in each regiment.
Maybe you should have offered more.
General Washington refuses to follow the bad example of our enemy. He does not believe in angering private citizens by forcing them to house his soldiers. Chimney still needs well.
But we heard there'd be more food for the men and warm clothes.
Yes. General Washington himself is off trying to get much-needed supplies from General Greene. But I'm so glad you arrived before I left. Generals Conway and Gates have asked me to attack Canada and to take it back from the British and liberate my countrymen.
Sounds like an interesting story. Perhaps we should go with you.
I'm still packed. correct.
But then you would be missing the greater drama, Henri. Washington's troops taught the ways of professional soldiering by the aides-de-camp to King Frederick the Great of Prussia.
They're learning from a Prussian?
Lieutenant General Frederick von Steuben, a tremendous hero, as hard and as seasoned a man, I am told, as has ever lived.
There!
That's as hard a man as has ever lived?
You should have stayed with James and Henri to report on the transformation of ordinary citizens into a true army.
What happened? Those must be the supplies the soldiers are waiting for. Lying there, abandoned.
Alas, Congress put our supply lines in the hands of shirkers who prefer British gold to the good continental dollar.
Philadelphia? They spelled Philadelphia with a K. I'm going to write about this.
No, General Washington begs us to hold our tongues. He doesn't want the troops to lose faith in the government. He'd rather take the blame.
Valley Forge? Where's the valley? And where's the forge?
The forge was burned by the British. As for the valley, well...
No meat! No meat! No soldier! No soldier! Look, lads, someone drawn by our jolly song. Joseph Paul Martin's the name, Paul Barack.
What's cooking?
It's fire cake. We make a paste out of flour and water and cook it on hot stones.
Thanks!
You there! Captain Elias Treadwell, at your service, sir.
Why is no one in uniform?
We are in uniform.
Oh, forgive me. English is not my first language. In Prussia, to be in uniform means to be dressed alike.
I'd wager anything that the rumor's true. Congress is eager to make anyone with a foreign accent and fancy ways a general.
You think von Steuben's a fraud?
Who can say? But I intend to find out.
Sir, why do you harass me? I say to you what I say to others just like you 35 times a day. Congress gave me no power to hire officers.
But I am of merit.
Sir, you knowing that you are of merit is a good and pleasing thing, but it doesn't mean it is known to everybody.
You insult me. I am of exceptional merit.
Heaven forbid he has the price of passage. If Congress continues promoting these fools into officers, we will surely lose the war.
A courier from Valley Forge told me you'd be coming.
Moses!
How good to see you again.
And you. With Ben's presses working again, I value a man whose exploits can fill so many of our pages.
Marquis de Lafayette.
My dear Conway.
General Gates awaits us at Irwin's Tavern. On to Canada's liberation.
Pardon, friends. We must make our battle plans. But I shall return with the beginning of a glorious story.
You look troubled.
I don't trust Conway. Or General Gates.
Neither does Benedict Arnold. He told me that Gates has more ambition than courage or ability.
Look at this leaflet. It's anonymous. But Gates and Conway are seeing that it's widely distributed. See? It blames Washington for every failure of the government. They hope to turn the public against him and toward Gates as the new commander-in-chief.
If Gates and Conway can make it appear that someone as popular as Lafayette is shifting his loyalties from Washington to Gates, I've got to warn Lafayette what they're up to.
Sarah, wait!
Pardon me, gentlemen. Do any of you know how to stand at attention?
You mean stand up straight? Yes. We know how to stand up straight.
Then pray do so. I shall be using you to train the man. In what, however, I can't imagine.
Did you see how he spoke to me just then? Heels 2 inches apart, shoulders square to the front. Who cares how we stand if we know how to fight?
Maybe Washington didn't know he was like this.
We were already starving and living in rags. Now we're also stuck with this Prussian trying to make us a professional army. Mark my words, James. If Washington lets von Steuben keep treating us this way, he won't have any army at all.
Where could that tavern be? I've gotten so turned around. Ah!
Sarah!
Moses! Thank heavens! How did you know where to find me?
You were heading for a tavern?
To Lafayette, a toast to the future hero of Canada.
Hear, hear. In the company of his equals at last, and free of the civilian general of Valley Forge.
With the good Marquis reporting only to me, we shall become a triangle of power with no man to stand between ourselves and our own high ambitions.
Wait!
A toast to the man who will have my eternal loyalty. A most excellent and esteemed General Washington. I would never go against Washington.
Marquis, wait!
They think by giving me command of the attack on Canada, I would turn against mon General Washington? What are you doing here?
We came to warn you.
But it doesn't appear we needed to.
Come, we must warn Washington. The schemes of those two dogs will not end with me.
I'll get the presses running, so everyone will know what they're up to.
I said kitchen's uphill, latrines down. Do you expect them to walk there?
Baron sure has everyone jumping.
He's turning the whole camp upside down.
What are you up to?
Baron von Steuben's orders. Air out the straw in your mattresses, clean everything inside and out, take a bath. I tell you, James, I may be named Plum Martin, but that Baron's plumb crazy.
Corporal, I ordered your company to assemble.
That'd be me.
Where are the other 99 men?
It appears he's all that's left, sir.
Appears? Where are your records?
I am not a secretary.
Not a secretary? Do you have fingers to count on? Do you have toes? Do you have the... Corporal, yell at him for me. I need more English words.
Sir, you may not appreciate our brand of military discipline. However...
How can I appreciate what you don't have? Where are the soldiers? Where are the uniforms? No one keeps records of anything? Corporal, what is that?
Think it was a critter of some sort. I reckon that's where it died.
Assemble a detail to remove it from the camp.
Why?
Why? Because it stinks. Because it carries disease. And because I say so.
Oh, all right then.
Captain, assemble. Somebody. We drill for battle.
That's for me!
Henri?
Pardon, Monsieur le Baron. I want to be trained.
You? Little filled mouse. You're no soldier. Then, neither are they.
But they're the best! They just need to learn what you have to teach.
Between you and me, I think you may be right. Very well. You may train with us as our mascot, and perhaps our good luck charm.
Hooray!
If I were you, I'd keep my young friend away from von Steuben. He's a monster. These men need their strength to survive and fight, not drill and clean up around the camp.
Shouldn't soldiers drill and keep the camp clean?
A lot you know. He told me I should win the devotion of my men.
Is that bad?
Discipline comes from an officer holding himself aloof, an object of awe. You cannot command and be a wet nurse. I'm making inquiries about our Baron, and if I can dig up some dirt, I will get rid of that fraud.
Left oblique. March. Right flank, march. Column left, march.
Sorry about that.
Stop! 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 I trim all moves so you can outbase your enemy, and you're still like sleeping rocks. Dunderheads, you would lose against an English statue. If this little boy can do it, why can't you? General Washington has told me of your stamina. Many of you can run a mile without breathing hard. Is that correct?
Sure can.
But he also told me that because you can't run together, you must advance in single file to be shot like ducks in a row. The army that can outflank its enemy is the one that survives.
That makes sense.
He's right.
Outflank. He has a point. Sir, would you please show us again?
With pleasure. Down the hatch, my boy.
Excuse me, Baron. I'm from the Pennsylvania Gazette. If I could ask some questions.
Certainly. Here you are, lad. Drink the broth slowly. The boy fainted during drill, too sick to stand. My lunch was only beef soup, but...
You gave him your food?
Ask your questions.
I've heard you were a lieutenant general in the Prussian army.
Bah, rank. All I need is this. Next question.
How does our army compare to European armies?
In other countries, you tell a soldier to do something, he does it. But an American, he needs a reason, because this fight is his fight. I've never seen such courage. And in these wretched conditions, any other soldier would have melted away. I am thankful Franklin sent me to be part of this.
Ben Franklin sent you?
Yes. He said Washington's genius is what he doesn't know, he learns. He thought drilling was a disagreeable necessity, but now he sees. You drill the men so each one can be as strong as the next. Strong as iron.
Right, because the weakest link can destroy the chain.
James, I've got dirt on von Steuben. A soldier who served under him in Prussia is in this very camp. He says von Steuben's neither a baron nor a general.
You're certain?
Well, the soldier's off on patrol, but I'll ride after him. When I return with his testimony, that will be the end of our baron.
He seems to know what he's doing.
I'm the soldier, James, not you. I believe George Washington will lead us to victory, and I'm not about to let this phony baron destroy our army.
But, James, we have something urgent to convey and can't find Washington anywhere.
I last saw him by the kitchens.
Kitchens? What kitchens? Nothing is where we left it.
Including Washington. He's off to meet with General Greene.
But we must warn him about Gates and Conway.
He'll be back by morning.
James, is something bothering you?
Captain Treadwell has bad news about von Steuben. I must talk to General Washington.
One, two, three, four. Left oblique. March!
General Washington, I must speak with you. The Baron is a fraud.
Don't listen to him, General.
Your Excellency, we must speak with you.
I think that...
Sir, please.
It's urgent.
I have vital information.
One at a time. One at a time.
Conway and Gates, they plot against you.
Yes, I know.
You do?
They're fools. My only concern was the credibility they might gain with you by their side. But I could never stop you from trying to regain Canada.
Vive le Général!
Mwah! Mwah! They're not the only ones who deal in trickery. Look, General, a signed affidavit that von Steuben is not a baron.
Please, General Washington, may I speak?
Wait. Will you look at that?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the rear. March!
To the rear, march!
Captain Treadwell, Baron or not, von Steuben has given me what I need. A professional army. By the way, General Greene came through with food and clothing for the men.
The supply wagons!
Come, Captain. The measure of greatness is to create something with a life of its own. For Washington, it is a nation. For von Steuben, it is... an army.
Dearest Mother, I try not to think of the future, but I can't help being moved by the future these soldiers see for themselves.
Forward, march! 1, 2, 3, 4, left oblique, march!
Sweet potato dumplings.
Pardon, General. Someone just spotted a British spy getting an eyeful of our camp.
Excuse me, where do I sign up?
Let the spy go. This is something I want our enemy to know about.
Come, I will show you.
We will win this war.
For whatever tomorrow brings. Today there's life, and hope, and pride.
Oblique, march!
As spring brings with it its promise of new beginnings, I am thrilled that America and France are now allies. I'm certain this new alliance will bring peace. The British will have no stomach for being drawn into a world war with France. However, I have a grave concern. So grave that I have sent this note by secret messenger to ensure its safe arrival. The Minister of France will arrive on United States shores in a month. We must greet him as one united nation, not 13 separate states. Please convey my deepest sense of urgency to Henri Laurens and the other members of Congress to set aside their differences and speak with a strong, united voice.
Virginia's arguments make no sense.
Maryland's arguments are madness.
Their voices might not be united, but they are strong.
Gentlemen, 3 years have passed since Benjamin Franklin wrote a draft of these Articles of Confederation, and we still cannot find the resolve to pass them. As president of this Congress, I find this shameful.
Hear, hear.
We'll approve them when they are fair.
Mr. Chase is being unreasonable.
Mr. Lee is being ridiculous.
Excuse me, Mr. Lawrence. This just arrived.
News from Dr. Franklin in France. The French minister will arrive in less than 1 month. He must see us as a united nation, or our critical alliance with France may not stand. Gentlemen, our very freedom is at stake.
I knew this was going to happen!
Listen to me!
I say, Maryland, your time has come.
I sometimes wish Congress were more like the Army. One person gives orders, and others follow without question.
Sort of like having a king.
Huh?
Why not identify the specific points of contention and address them one by one?
I second that motion.
Virginia and Maryland agree? It's a miracle.
This way! Over here!
If you're going to be my assistant, you've got to learn to be on time and to not run into the journalist.
Sorry, what did I miss?
See those women over there? They're Philadelphia washerwomen and spies for General Washington.
Real spies!
They say the British officers have demanded their laundry by next week, whether it's finished or not. You know what that means.
They don't care if they wear dirty clothes?
No, it means the British are finally withdrawing from Philadelphia. This is a huge story for me.
Sure is, but what happens to the spies when you write it?
Ladies, you have done your country a great service. Thank you. We have before us a great opportunity. Mr. Hamilton, call a war council for this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Wow! Did you see that?
Sure. General Washington is working with the Wappinger to form an Indian company to fight the British.
I was talking about his feathers. Excusez-moi, but those are the most wonderful feathers I have ever seen.
I earned them in a tribal contest.
You have to win them in a contest?
These, yes, but there are plenty of other turkey feathers around. All you have to do is catch a turkey and pluck a feather.
Gentlemen, we have identified the 3 major issues that block our ratification of the Articles of Confederation. 1, how to divide the expenses of a central government among the different states.
It's absurd. A state like mine, Maryland, with limited land and resources, cannot be expected to pay the same for this war as Lee's Virginia, which claims vastly more territory and the right to expand.
Vastly more territory?
Well said, but ridiculous.
Where are you going?
Outside. It's too windy in here.
Here, turkey, 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 turkey. Not fair. You're supposed to hold still.
In spite of the British withdrawal from Philadelphia, and in spite of their slow retreat, I can hardly credit your desire to attack them, General. Only a fool would seriously consider such a move.
Sir, you are speaking to your...
Oh, it's tantalizing to be sure, but it's exactly what they want us to do. Right, Achilles? Let's not deceive ourselves. The British have been in control of this war from the outset.
I suppose that's why they've replaced General Howe with General Clinton.
It is hardly for us to second-guess the greatest army in the world. Clinton is an able soldier with many a victory to his credit. General Greene, how many battles have you won? Or, for that matter, has our commander-in-chief?
Sir, you're not going to accept these outrageous slurs on your honor.
What the American soldier does best is run away. General Washington wisely knows this, and no doubt will soon recognize the folly of mounting any sort of attack.
So, we're to do nothing and waste this golden opportunity to strike at our foe?
Sadly, Monsieur Lafayette, it is not for me, the most experienced soldier here, to make that decision.
Gentlemen, I suggest we adjourn for a while so that I might consider your counsel.
Whose side is General Lee on, anyway?
I'm starting to wonder why we bought him out of British custody. At least we could have left behind his poodles.
They shamed their French blood. I finally found that dumb one. Just a little further. Whoa. Ouch!
That's an unusual way to hunt turkey.
It's how you tell a smart one from a dumb one.
The turkey or the hunter?
Hunter, I'm afraid. I'm Henri.
Abraham Nimham. I could teach you an easier way to hunt turkey. The way of my people, the Wappinger.
That would be great! Only, could you get me down first?
Since we have failed to resolve the issue of how to split federal expenses, could we at least agree on how each state is to be represented in Congress?
We have a perfectly adequate system now. One state, one vote.
Are there any objections to the present arrangement?
If they can agree on this, maybe they can agree on the other points.
Then we are in accord.
Aye!
Finally, let's push on to the next issue.
Mr. President, Maryland insists that General Washington deliver us a victory on the field of battle. Why not? A victory would impress the French more than any act this Congress might pass.
Mr. Chase, this Congress can't even agree on whether or not Washington is worthy of his command. Let us get back to the business at hand.
He speaks the truth. Never mind Washington, let's get to the articles.
Leave him alone to do his job, and let's do ours.
Some delegates don't believe in General Washington?
All of them could use more of the general's determination to unite this country.
When will they come?
Shh.
Their retreating column is 8 to 10 miles long?
Yes, and despite the heat, they wear wool uniforms and carry full packs. They are struggling.
Gentlemen, I believe we should seize this opportunity to strike the enemy while he is most vulnerable. What do you say?
We could easily attack their flank and rear without getting into a full-blown battle.
We'll never have a chance like this again. I say we fight.
General Lee?
I am passionately opposed to such an action.
Lee, your opposition to this attack borders on treachery.
I'm sorry, sir, no. It's logic. I risk disaster when a French alliance is so near to hand.
Because we must show the French we are worthy of an alliance, sir.
and with a victory deal the British a double blow. We shall attack. That is my decision, and it is final. General, command of the striking force is yours. 1,500 men.
I'm sorry. I must refuse. $1,500 men. Paltry number. I had to turn it down on principle. Isn't that so, Achilles? Washington wouldn't dare engage the enemy without me. He knows that I'm his military superior. He's not fit to command a sergeant guard. No, he won't move forward without me. If he does, it will be the end of him.
We'll have 1,500 men, and if we come up on their flank, we'll be able to take them over.
You mustn't breathe the word to anyone. These are military secrets.
My dear Marquis, if Lee stays true to his conviction and refuses to lead this attack, I'll need you to step in.
Your Excellency, I'll begin drawing up plans immediately.
I've called this private meeting so that we three might reach an agreement about the most difficult issue before us. Then we can talk to the others. The states with western territories like Maryland will be asked to hand them over to the central government.
What will we get in return?
We can't expect either side to be completely happy, Samuel.
You're a sly one, Henry, making it richer than my responsibility to convince our colleagues.
Sam, we must end this impasse.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Good evening, Miss Phillips. Washington intends to engage the enemy. This is it, gentlemen. Washington must win this battle.
Hurry, Henri! They're reviewing the battle plans. Whoa, excuse us.
I understand that you've placed 5,000 men under the command of a 20-year-old boy.
Not a boy, sir. The Marquis de Lafayette.
Half the army. I am insulted, sir.
General, you turned down the command.
I disapproved of the strategy. Nevertheless, my honor requires that I now take charge of what has become a major engagement.
You are entitled to the command, General. It is yours if you want it. You will attack tomorrow at dawn, concentrating horse and battery on the British west flank at Monmouth. I suspected he'd come around.
Let's hope he fights as fiercely on the field as he does at headquarters.
General Lee?
I have been charged by Washington to take over here. I'll require a full accounting of your forces. Cavalry, artillery, and infantry.
Certainement. And I can show you my plans.
I have no use for your plans.
Of course. You have your own.
No. To draw up plans is pointless, as the enemy is on the march. I shall improvise my strategy in response to his movements.
Our forces are now positioned to give Lee complete support. Gentlemen, it has begun.
Look at all those feathers! One of you drop me a feather!
Henri, come back here! We need to stay with Henri! Henri! Where are you? Henri, come on!
You there, Pfeiffer. Where are you going?
Our troops are in retreat, sir.
He's telling the truth. Look!
Gobble, 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 gobble. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Henri!
Oh, you cost me my feather!
You're lucky it wasn't your life.
There's General Poodles.
General Lee, what's he doing here?
Look, regarde!
Lee, what on this earth are you about?
I have ordered a general retreat.
You coward! That is contrary to my orders.
Coward? The soldiers, your soldiers, are out of control, constantly disobeying me. I found myself in the most extensive plain in America, where such troops as I commanded would be helpless before the enemy horse. And as you well know, I was against this from the start.
All this may be true, but you should not have undertaken it unless you intended to go through with it.
Open your eyes! These farmers are no match for the British Army.
Quit the field, sir. You are relieved of your command.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm the only professional soldier you have.
I will not suffer you to scorn these worthy men, let alone command them for 1 minute more. Yeah! I will not allow us to lose this battle. Take positions behind those hedgerows and hold that ridge. We are through running.
Washington, what a hero!
And what a story!
Despite the awful heat, our reorganized troops turned away several enemy assaults. Though the day ended in a draw, the British have learned new respect for the fighting resolve of our army. In your service, General George Washington. Gentlemen, we remain at a stalemate in our effort to pass the Articles of Confederation. This is the kind of fortitude and discipline we need if we are to become one nation. I can only hope we're capable of it.
We can do it!
Hear, hear.
We are
Hear,
capable!
hear.
We
can be one nation. Hear, hear. We must unite!
In the longest battle of the war so far, our commander-in-chief has shown the world he deserves that title. And Washington has agreed, with deep regret, to grant General Lee a court-martial. It's been an exhausting time for soldier and civilian alike. But we've all learned that even the best plans are meaningless without the discipline and determination to see them through. Ha! Speaking of exhausted. General Greene, being appointed to command the Southern Army is quite an honor.
Honor is an interesting word for it, James. The Southern Army is exhausted, and the British have a great deal of support in the South. We must rally the population here to our side, or we could lose the war. My greatest hope is that the governor of Virginia will provide me with much-needed men and supplies.
My greatest hope is that he'll provide us with some much-needed Southern desserts.
And I'm looking forward to writing a story about the man who wrote the words, "All men are created equal." celebration! Just think, in a few minutes I'll be talking with Thomas Jefferson. How do you address the author of the Declaration of Independence? Your Excellency. No, too formal. Mr. Jefferson. No, too familiar.
I hope we get to see him soon. I can't take much more of this.
She looks kind of like a chicken trying to dance in sticky mud.
Sir, great to see you again. Ah, that's better.
The governor will see you now.
Sir, great to see you again. Sir, great to see you again. Sir, great to see you again. We met before, in Philadelphia, you remember? Oh, maybe you don't. I was disguised as a chambermaid and I stole some of your trash. Well, I didn't really steal it. After all, it was trash and I was just doing some investigative reporting. And I was investigating you. No, that's not right. I was just trying to find out what goes on in that brilliant mind of yours. Anyway, hello. James, tell me that wasn't perfectly awful.
It was better than I could have ever hoped.
Forgive me. I was jotting down a thought about developing free schools that all our nation's children could attend. A pleasure, General.
Sir, great to see you again. Whoa!
And you must be Henri.
Henri Richard Maurice Toutois Lefebvre, from France. Yum!
So, how may I be of help to you, General?
Governor Jefferson, the British are preparing for a large-scale foray into the South.
I'm not surprised. Most Southerners are country folk whose main concern is earning their daily bread. They don't care which side they're on in the war.
Quite so. Here's the situation we face. This half of the desk is the Carolinas, this half Virginia. You're here. The traitor Benedict Arnold is off the coast, and Cornwallis holds strong British positions at Georgetown, Camden, Winnsboro, and 96. Oh, yes, and here is the small force Horatio Gates has left me. A force I have not yet had the pleasure of seeing. I will take my forces to the Carolinas. If we don't stop Cornwallis there, he will drive north and crush Virginia. Governor, I'll need Virginia militiamen and weapons if I'm to have any chance of preventing Cornwallis from winning the South.
I evened things out. Now it's a fair fight.
Yours is a difficult position, General. I will help you the moment I can, but right now I have no weapons to give you, and all my militiamen have served their required time and gone home. I'm afraid I can be of no help, General Greene. I'm sorry.
Soldiers can be asked to serve additional time, but cannot be forced to do so. The idea of a people's army is unfathomable.
I admire what Governor Jefferson is saying, sir. Giving men the right to choose whether they will or will not fight sounds to me like freedom.
But we're in a war, Sarah. We won't have any freedom if we have no soldiers.
You do have a point, James. General, I hope you are successful in North Carolina. And James, Henri, I'll keep you up on events here in Virginia. In the meantime, I plan to find out how Thomas Jefferson found the inspiration to write the Declaration of Independence.
I hope you don't end up as disappointed in Governor Jefferson as I am. Be well, Sarah.
Be safe.
Up ahead! Soldiers! Are they British?
No, probably some leftover Virginia militia. I am General Nathaniel Greene. Who's your commanding officer?
General Horatio Gates, sir. At least he used to be.
This is the Continental Army?
With these soldiers, and without Jefferson's militia, we're no match for the British.
You're full of good questions, Sarah. Yes, I think we should educate everyone. Men, women, even slaves.
And how exactly would you do it?
Ah, there's the problem. Having ideas and implementing them are two very different things.
Are they really? I mean...
The stores are in place. The firewood has been cut. Your home is secured for the winter, Master.
Thank you, Great George. I'll need Tuckahoe secured as well. And let me give you some letters for my wife and daughter. Excuse me, Sarah. We'll talk more later. Being governor takes a great deal of time from my family. Fortunately, I have help in remaining in contact with them.
Help? You own other human beings and you refer to them as help? You own slaves!
You, the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence, is what I wanted to say, but I didn't have the nerve. And by the way, Governor Jefferson is still unable to raise any militiamen to send to General Greene. As always, Sarah.
Have you noticed that every week it gets harder to tell what's in the soup? We've got the usual bear fat, but this batch looks to have beaver tail and muskrat.
That can't be beaver tail. It's got a tooth in it.
A tooth? I'm not eating this.
That's a first, but don't complain to the cook. Poor guy has to make meals out of anything he can catch.
There's only one way we can even hope to beat Cornwallis.
Beat Cornwallis? Half the men aren't well enough to walk.
Shh, come on.
My plan is to hit him when and where he's not expecting us, then run like the wind before he can catch us. Chasing us will force Cornwallis to use up all his supplies. He'll have to take new supplies from the local population. They will despise him for that. Then the people in the South will move over to our cause, and Cornwallis will withdraw. I hope.
That's his plan?
Where's that coming from? We're under attack! Take cover!
Dear Sarah, I don't know if General Greene's plan to get the British to chase us all over the Carolinas is helping us win the hearts and minds of the population, but I sure am getting to see a lot of the country. I do hope, though, that Thomas Jefferson can convince his militia to reinforce us before we get to see much more of them. But Sarah, how are you? Have you finished your interview with Thomas Jefferson? I can't wait to read it.
No, James. What can I possibly ask him that wouldn't be horribly disrespectful? Governor, would you please tell your slaves about how all men are created equal? And on top of it all, Benedict Arnold is attacking from the north. Oh, that traitor! James, we are forced to evacuate Richmond.
Sir, the British are nearing the city, 1,500 strong.
What of our militia?
Of the 4,600 men you called up, only 200 have reported.
That means Arnold will march into Richmond unopposed.
I never thought the traitor would make it all the way to Richmond. We must speed up our evacuation.
Over there, the tree!
Seek cover!
Follow in!
Not under the trees!
We've got to get these men out of the rain.
They could get struck by lightning. The trees attract it.
It is what gave Benjamin Franklin his idea for the lightning rod.
I'll yield to Dr. Franklin's science. Away from the trees! We'll try that barn over there.
Let's go!
Halt! We heard you were coming, General. Get off my land.
Shelter from the rain, sir. That's all we require.
I want nothing to do with your insurrection. You and your men, keep moving.
We'll take his barn whether he likes it or not.
Take it!
Halt! You heard the man. We'll continue up the road. Move out!
James?
What?
I don't think this strategy, always running from the enemy, is working.
That's because you don't understand General Greene's brilliant tactics. At least this is an army now. An army people might join.
An army that can't feed its soldiers or keep them dry? Oh, sure, I'd join that army.
We have to put our faith in General Greene.
General Cornwallis, sir. All signs indicate that the enemy passed through here only hours ago.
I told you burning our wagons and excess baggage would speed us up.
Yes, sir, but it's also left us woefully short of food.
There's a farm ahead. We'll take what we need.
No, stop! You can't do that!
No!
Madam, your husband would do well to cooperate. Carry on!
We're loyalists. We've never supported the fight against England. If you take our stock, how are we to eat?
We are at war, my good woman. The king's soldiers come first. I have every confidence you will survive this inconvenience.
Move it! I'm all right. I'm all right.
Dear James and Henri, the British have withdrawn to Portsmouth, and we are returning to Richmond. Prior to our evacuation, Governor Jefferson had finally made some progress toward convincing the Virginia legislature to provide men and supplies for General Greene. Now he must start all over. And as for my interview with the governor, it will instead be an expose revealing his awful hypocrisy on the issue of slavery. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Sarah.
James, are we ever going to eat tonight? I found some hickory nuts, a hunk of ox jerky, and, well, I think this was a squirrel.
Get that thing out of here.
Hey, that was hard to find.
Is food all you ever think about?
I was just...
There's more to this war than filling your belly.
I'm sorry, James.
Wait, Henri? I'm sorry. It's not you. I just found out there are still no reinforcements coming from Virginia. So the army's gonna have to keep running. Just like in New York and New Jersey, just like in Philadelphia, just like they've been doing for the whole war.
General Greene says if we make it across the Dan River tomorrow, the running might be over.
So what? You were right. His plan's not working. It's not winning anyone over to our cause. What am I supposed to tell the people who read our newspaper?
Tell them our forces are so thin that General Greene does not want to risk their lives in an uneven fight. And tell them that the food in the South is not what it's cracked up to be, unless they like squirrel.
Hold on!
I need to get my men across the river, and quickly. If the British catch us here, we'll be destroyed. Where are the fords?
Fords?
Yes, the best places to cross the river.
Use your eyes, Colonel. The river's in flood.
Then I'll need your boats.
Is that so? British or Continentals, you boys are all the same. Think you can take whatever you want? Well, I know you're not going to send my boats back. That'd just be giving the redcoats a way to cross the river. So, you're going to have to pay for them before you can take them.
That's only fair. I'll make you a trade.
You will?
I'll give you 20 horses for your boats. Good ones.
Why am I just watching? This is a great story.
The Southern Army owes you a debt of gratitude, sir. Thank you.
General, I was neutral in this war. But from now on, consider me what are we calling ourselves these days? Revolutionaries? Sons of Liberty?
Just Americans.
Maybe we'll win their hearts and minds after all.
American! I'm an American!
I'm disappointed that the legislature has once again refused my call for more militia, but I can't say I'm surprised.
If you need men, sir, what about learning from the British? You could promise freedom to slaves who will fight for America.
I might support it, but the Virginia legislature never will. The state's economy is dependent upon slavery.
Is the economy as important as the fact that all men are created equal?
No, Sarah, it isn't nearly as important.
But Governor Jefferson, you own slaves.
Yes, but I have proclaimed slavery an abomination that must be brought to an end.
Proclaimed? With respect, sir, proclaiming isn't doing.
This is a young country, Sarah. Still locked in a battle for its own survival. There are countless issues to be addressed, limitless problems to be solved. Slavery is one of the biggest. And Sarah, we will solve it. Do you view me and my colleagues as great men?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, we are great. Great with human flaws, as well as human hopes. I doubt there's a man among us great enough to see the horror of slavery eliminated in our lifetime. I've tried, and I will keep trying. And if we cannot correct this abomination, then those who follow us shall. Take courage in that.
Governor Jefferson, I must confess. I've been writing an expose about you and your slaves for Dr. Franklin's Gazette. But now, after listening to you, I don't think I'll publish it.
I commend your passion, Sarah. When the war ends, I intend to draft a plan for freeing all the slaves in this country. I'd welcome your thoughts on the subject.
Governor Jefferson, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
always thought that one person of ability may accomplish great things for the world if he first forms a solid plan. And then passionately devotes himself to following it through.
Huh? What is it, James?
Master, do you believe in freedom?
You know I do. I'm a patriot. I believe in this new country.
General Lafayette left here only yesterday. I would like your permission to join him. Then I'll come back if I survive.
All right, James. You may offer your services to the General.
Thank you, sir. I'm much obliged.
Without a navy, we can do nothing decisive. With it, everything honorable and glorious.
General Washington, when do you think the French fleet will get here?
I expect General Rochambeau knows when Admiral de Grasse will grace us with his company, but our good ally is not saved. If the ships would arrive, we could take New York and end this war.
The French haven't even come through with support for Lafayette, one of their own.
Yes, General Knox. The poor Marquis races through the Virginia heat with barely 1,200 hungry men, trying to stop that traitor from burning more homes to the ground.
Benedict Arnold.
Pillaging my state. If only Lafayette could capture that traitor.
I want the traitor. I want Arnold alive to face the justice he deserves.
I would like to face General Arnold too, to ask him if he no longer believes all his lofty words about freedom.
But we are powerless, running like rabbits from place to place. Where are our French troops? Our ships?
Ships? Ships sail on water. Water is cold. Please don't mention cold, Jobert. It reminds me how hot I am.
Write this to Washington, please. Your Excellency. Now that Lord Cornwallis has joined Benedict Arnold here in Virginia, I'm not even strong enough to get beaten. I must find other means with which to fight. I remain supremely confident of our ultimate victory. But, sir, I am running out of men, supplies, and ideas.
Henri, you're in the presence of a general and a lady. Get dressed.
General, there's a Negro here who wishes to join us.
Bring him in. Who are you, my friend?
James, sir.
What is your last name, James?
My master's name is Armistead, so that is my name, too.
How do you think you can serve our cause, James Armistead? What are your skills?
Sir, I am invisible.
Huh?
I'm a black man. Most white folk don't look at me. They don't think about me. They don't care about me. They don't fear me. Do you have any use for an invisible man?
This horrible southern heat. If General Clinton had heeded my advice and permitted me to crush Washington in the north, His Excellency would be a prisoner, and I wouldn't be in Virginia sweating like some beast of burden.
General Arnold, sir, you ordered me to bring you any Negroes offering service?
Ah, yes, in return for their freedom. They value freedom above all else. That is why Negroes can be relied on. Bring them in. How long have you lived in this area?
All my life, sir.
You know your way around, even in the dark?
Yes, sir.
You will serve me as my guide. First, clean my coat. And I do hope you have a talent for killing mosquitoes. Lieutenant, I shall not wish to be disturbed tonight.
Now and then I enjoy being alone with the trees, the crickets, and the frogs. I find it my sole opportunity these days for contentment and calm. If and only if there is a matter of extreme urgency, you will find me by the pond, just outside the northeast end of camp, relaxing.
This way!
After him!
Over here! Where'd he go?
You will find the spy in our camp, and you will hang him.
So we almost captured Arnold, all because of James' armistead?
Oui, Henri. Perhaps James is the secret weapon we've been lacking.
Henri, I told you to put on your clothes.
Oui.
Good morning, sir. 3 more desertions last night.
It's this heat, Lieutenant. Our troops are from colder climates. I had hoped that seeing me wearing full uniform would inspire them.
Joubert, didn't you tell me there used to be warriors who fought naked?
You, Henri Lefebvre, are not a warrior.
Now Clinton calls me North.
At least I can meet Washington in his foolish campaign to retake New York.
Sir. I'd like to continue to serve, sir. Please don't send me back to slavery.
General Cornwallis has arrived here in Petersburg. His lordship can always use another servant. The man doesn't even like to buckle his own shoes.
Thank you, sir. I'm much obliged.
An ambush! Captain Wayne, we wouldn't have lost any of your brave men at James River if we had intelligence of Cornwallis's plans.
Thanks for the lightweight uniforms, sir.
You are welcome. And now these rumors Cornwallis will be moving. But where? When?
Must have sent you back a lot of money, sir.
It was my pleasure.
Worth every penny to get you into something other than your underwear.
We must have information.
What about your spy, McKee? The one who helped you almost capture Arnold?
We have not heard from James Armistead in 2 months. It is my hope he has not been able to get a message out. It is my fear that he is dead or has run away.
I asked the spies, "Sir, do you have any last words?" "Yes, sir," he answered. "But if I told them to you, they wouldn't be mine anymore." More pie? Ooh. Now I shall tell you my news, which is not to travel outside this tent. Gentlemen, our fleet has finally arrived nearby at Chesapeake Bay. It will carry our troops to a position from which we will crush the rebels once and for all. We do not yet have orders as to where that position will be. Thank you, gentlemen, and good night. What's your name?
James, sir.
James, I wish to have a word with you about something quite grave.
Yes, sir?
I wish to talk to you about spying.
Lafayette had me write a letter to Washington for him. He told His Excellency he's devilish afraid of General Cornwallis.
He's just trying to get Washington to send help. Joubert's not afraid of anything. Who's that? James Armistead!
James!
James?
Sir, General Cornwallis knows I am a spy.
Then how is it, James, that you are still alive?
I am a spy for General Cornwallis.
Cornwallis thinks you are working for him? James, you are brilliant!
Cornwallis is expecting General Clinton to send some of the British fleet to the Chesapeake Bay with troops and supplies.
But where will these ships take the British troops, mon ami?
If Cornwallis knows, he is insane, and he's careful with his maps and papers. But I'll find out, sir. I swear I'll find out.
You be careful, James. Now that Lord Cornwallis thinks you are spying for the British, you are in more danger than ever. It's only fair that I give you a chance to change your mind and never again return to the English camp. No one will think any less of you, my brave friend.
I'll need some phony papers to give Cornwallis.
You shall have them. But not quite yet.
And now that we have finally received the orders containing our army's real destination, you, James, shall take these orders to Lafayette with a false destination to lead him astray. Tell him you took them from my pocket when I was drunk.
Yes, sir.
You shall have your freedom and more. You Negroes take care of me, and I shall take care of you. James, is tea ready?
Another minute, sir.
Then, Lieutenant, let us enjoy 60 seconds of fresh Virginia air. This slave could make defeating the rebels significantly easier. Ah, it's lovely outside. Now, Lieutenant, we must use this particular spy very carefully.
Don't you feel like taking some air, too? I'll watch things here.
What are you doing? Simply the best crumpets I've ever eaten. I can only imagine the astonishment on my face.
I know you'd be rewarded, but
delicacy in front of this
please don't say anything. Please.
I desperately wish I had demanded the recipe from the man, but I was so surprised. I simply didn't think of it. I hope, Lieutenant, that our forces do not similarly squander such a splendid opportunity. Excellent.
Cornwallis will move to near Yorktown here, where he'll wait for the British fleet to arrive in Chesapeake Bay. When his ships arrive, he will attack us.
Washington must know of this immediately. James, how did you learn this?
I was very nearly caught, General. I would have been put to death for treason if not for an African soldier fighting for the British. A man named Cato.
Cato? Isn't that the name of Moses' brother?
Yes, certainement! Cato!
We must find out if it is Moses' brother. James, please don't put yourself at any more risk. But if it's possible to find out, it would mean so much to both of them.
I owe the man at least that.
General Rochambeau lied to me. Our French fleet is headed for Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, not for New York as Rochambeau promised. My plan to take New York is ruined, but this might provide us with the opportunity we've been waiting for.
We know Cornwallis is at Chesapeake Bay, sir.
Yes, General Knox, at Yorktown. Admiral de Grasse will have 29 warships and 3,000 troops. Here, our army and Rochambeau could march south and join Lafayette on the other side of Yorktown. Here. We would then be surrounding the British by land and by sea.
So the army marches south. It could be the huge victory we've been hoping for.
Yes, James, it would certainly lead to a great victory, or a devastating defeat.
The risk would indeed be grave.
What if the march to Virginia in the heat decimates our troops? What if the French ships never reach Chesapeake Bay and leave us without naval support? What if we arrive here and the British fleet evacuates Cornwallis's forces? And worst of all, what if Cornwallis leaves before we even arrive in Virginia?
News of very great importance is on the way. In the meantime, my dear Marquis, it is of the most critical importance that, at all costs, you prevent Cornwallis from leaving Yorktown.
How can we hold Lord Cornwallis in Yorktown with so few men?
Sarah, please write back to His Excellency. I hope you will find we have taken the best precautions to lessen his lordship's chances of escape.
Yes, sir.
Is there any more, whatever this is?
These plans you recovered were clearly intended for a large new rebel force on its way here. To reinforce Lafayette. Fine work, James. So we shall indeed remain here at Yorktown until our fleet arrives. I want you to gather my senior officers back here in 20 minutes.
Cato, what? Do you have kin named Moses?
Moses? My brother.
James, what do you think about during your long walks between our camp and Yorktown?
The petition of James, a slave belonging to William Armistead. That your petitioner, convinced of the just right which all mankind have to freedom, even though he was a slave, did during the ravages of Lord Cornwallis through the state of Virginia, enter into the service of the Marquis Lafayette, that he often, at the peril of his life, conveyed messages from the Marquis into the enemy lines of the most secret and important kind, the possession of which, if discovered on him, would have certainly endangered his life. That for this duty, he should be set free and his master paid for the loss of a valuable workman. Freedom, Sarah. Freedom.
Dearest Mother, I can scarcely believe the war's been over for nearly 3 years. But peace has not come easily for all. I'm on my way to New York now, where I will report on the conditions of the loyalists, those people who remained faithful to England during the Revolution. To do so, I will renew my acquaintance with your friend, Mrs. Radcliffe. She was such a kind hostess to James and me, nearly 10 years ago, back in '76. To think how very much has changed since then. Oh my! What's happened to New York City?
It is indeed a most entrancing work. You must give King Louis my deepest thanks for the privilege of entering his private gallery. Congress grants me permission to return to the United States. After all these years, I'm going home. I can barely begin to imagine what awaits me there.
What's become of the average continental soldier? The merchant who left his shop? The farmer who left his field? The brave men who marched away from everything they held dear to fight with George Washington for their country, and have survived to taste the fruits of their courage. What better place to learn what's happened to the soldiers after the war than in Massachusetts, the cradle of our revolution?
Whoa! So, James, you want to know what it's like for us Continental soldiers now that we've come home?
Yes, Captain Shays.
Well, come on. I'll show you.
Where are we going?
To court.
Court?
Bonjour, Moses!
Monsieur le Marquis!
It is such a pleasure to embrace a good friend in a free United States. Forgive me. I look forward to the day all in this country will be free. You've still had no word from your brother?
For 2 years I searched for him. The closest I got was finding this in Richmond, Virginia. It's from his owner.
If you see him, please return Cato, who was seen skulking around this neighborhood. He is my lawful property. Moses, it is an outrage!
Yes. The British promised him his freedom when he escaped to join their army. Now that they've lost the war, The moment my brother's found, he'll be returned to slavery. If he's still alive. Either way, my friend, I will never see Cato again.
Oh, that was close. Oh, they wouldn't let me go. Everyone wanted to talk to me.
And why was that, Henri?
They all wanted to know what it's like to be the son of the great Lafayette.
Oh.
Later. The Marquis wishes some privacy. Shoo!
Oh,
That's it. Merci. Au revoir. Well, what's to eat?
Henri.
It's all right, mon ami. Tell me, what will you do now? Will you continue with Dr. Franklin's Gazette?
No, Marquis. I have other plans. I've been blessed with learning. Many others have not. I would like to share my blessing with as many of them as I can. I plan to start a school for Negro children. Boys and girls both. And you, Marquis?
I will visit General Washington at Mount Vernon. Then I shall return to France. There I will build support for the United States and work to abolish slavery in France's colonies. I shall miss all of you very, very much. Henri?
Not as much, I'm afraid, as Henri will miss you.
You're throwing me in jail because I can't pay my debts? I borrowed that money I owe because the government asked me to, so I could buy more grain to grow more food for our army and the French army. Take your hands off me, sir. Now that there's no more soldiers to feed, I can't sell my produce. And instead of helping me who helped you, you make me sell my farm to pay my debts. And when the money from the sale doesn't cover my debts, you throw me in a cage. Me and darn near every other farmer in Massachusetts. We were soldiers. We risked our lives fighting for your freedom.
This is not justice.
We fought
Let
for
him
this
go.
country. Give us back our farms.
Order!
Let him go! We won't stand for this!
These, James, are what you describe as the fruits of the Continental soldier's courage.
Let me go! It's not fair! I fought for you!
What's happened to New York is tragic. Please be all right, Mrs. Radcliffe. Please be all right. Mrs. Radcliffe! I'm so glad you're safe.
Yes, well, I am alive. I'm grateful for that, I suppose. Perhaps Nova Scotia won't be all that bad.
You're going to Canada?
Come, Sarah. Let us go where we can have privacy. For a few minutes, anyway.
My old room.
Take a look, my dear, while you still can. They're taking my house. The Americans. And I had to sell my jewelry to pay for the war, they said. Just as I'm selling everything else before I journey to Canada. All I wanted to do was live my life in peace as a loyal British subject.
Oh, Mrs. Radcliffe.
Oh, Sarah, the horror of it all.
Who's there? Is anyone there?
Yes, Moses.
Cato! Sit down, Cato. You'll be safe here. I doubt anyone will be looking in here, but I want to be sure.
This is Ben Franklin's laboratory?
It is. Cato, I searched for you. How did you get here? Where have you been?
My brother? I've been everywhere.
Tell me. I saw you at Yorktown when the British forced you out into no man's land.
Moses, an amazing thing happened to me at Yorktown.
General Clinton, we no longer have enough food or water to sustain all our men. I'm afraid our Negro soldiers will have to fend for themselves.
No! It's too dangerous! Do not send them out of the fortifications!
We risked our lives for the British! You promised us our freedom!
Come here! Here! Come! I'm going to help you! I'll hide you! Hurry! Trust me!
Since then, more white people have helped me remain free. They're not all bad. Moses, I can't explain it, but knowing that, it's like a weight's been lifted off my soul.
William, open up. It's only me. It's a petition, William. It asks the state of Massachusetts to stop selling our farms and throwing us in prison for debt. To show some appreciation and understanding of what we sacrificed to help win the war. Enough of us sign this thing. Maybe the government will start to listen to us.
This is amazing, Daniel. It's democracy in action.
Yes, James. This is what I fought for in General Washington's army.
I'm not surprised by my poor treatment at the hands of the Americans. I am, however, shocked at the wretched behavior of my own mother, England.
What has England done?
Very little. They've given us a few shillings. Would you like to see what else they've given us?
I would.
Open those boxes behind me.
A hat?
Heavy clothes for the horrible Nova Scotia climate. Open the other one.
What's this?
It's called a pitchfork. There are other farm supplies, too. Tell me, Sarah, what is a woman like me going to do with farm supplies? While you have a pencil, do write King George a thank you note from me.
Some black people are even going back to Africa.
It's hard enough to get you across the street without getting caught, much less all the way to Africa.
More going up to Nova Scotia. Lots of British, too.
That letter from Sarah, her friend. Hurry!
And the state's answer to our honest petition is silence. Or just about.
This won't stand! We must act!
If the courts mean to take away our farms and throw us in jail, maybe we have to close down the courts any way we can.
We'll take our freedom!
Down with the courts!
We'll fight if we have to!
Wait! Wait a minute, everyone! Fighting your own government? Has it really come to that?
I'm afraid it has, James. We owe it to ourselves. And yes, we owe it to our country!
Yeah! Hurrah!
We're almost to New York City. Come on out. Remember, my papers prove I'm a free man. If anyone questions us, do as I do. Act confident.
Brother, I'll act like a rooster if that's what it takes to be free.
Here!
Moses! And Cato!
I found you! Wait, come back!
Oh! But Sarah, I don't even know this man.
Mrs. Radcliffe, he's a farmer. He'll help you survive in Canada. All you have to do is hide him on your way up there.
Ma'am, my brother will clear you the finest farm in Nova Scotia.
How do I know he won't disappear the moment we reach Canada?
Because he says he won't.
He's my brother, and I promise he...
Excuse me.
Ma'am, powers beyond our control are forcing both of us to start our lives all over. I'd like to help you start your new life, if you'll help me start mine.
It was easier saying goodbye this time.
Why is that?
Because this time, he's going off to freedom.
Henri, stop! Henri, I hope you are in here and can hear me. It caused me great pain to say goodbye to George Washington. I do not want you to feel that kind of pain. I want to take you to France. You can live with me there and help me tell the world of this amazing new thing called liberty.
Gilbert!
Oui?
I am here! Thank you for chasing me!
Apples? Get your apples here!
Clean streets, merchants, new homes.
Newspapers! Newspapers!
And look at all these newspapers. Here you go. Children, New York City is coming back strong.
I've been thinking. Maybe I could run my own newspaper someday. I could help keep our government honest.
Like your article about the Massachusetts farmers. Maybe it will urge the government to help them before there's any violence.
Defending freedom of the press is a fine goal, James. The fight for freedom never ends.
Sarah, could I borrow some money to buy a newspaper?
But Moses just bought one.
No, I mean to buy a newspaper.
Oh, James.
Dr. Franklin, good to have you back home.
Dr. Franklin, I don't think I've ever seen a more joyous day.
My dear, I believe you're right.